Morning, guys. 9:06 here in the UK. Very cold, -1 today in the UK. Yeah, feeling the chill at the moment with the cost of heating your house right now. It's a little insane. $2.50 an hour to have our gas on right now, but all good, all good. Bitcoin. So just looking at Bitcoin, following on from yesterday, not too much has happened, and to be honest with you, I don't think much is going to happen before the Fed meeting. We may well get that test of the lows before that meeting. Let's see what happens. So Fed meeting 13th, 14th. We've got data coming out tomorrow. So we may see some volatility tomorrow. We may see markets position themselves in the lead up to the Fed meeting. Lots of news coming out next week as well. So it's going to be a very, very interesting week. And obviously December, so last month of the year. We just got to keep an eye on the TA, trade what's in front of us, and then obviously keep one eye on the news for what might be a deciding factor going into 2023 as to which direction the markets are going to go in. And when I say markets, I mean Bitcoin, SPX, CS1, Nasdaq, okay, degree of correlation at the moment. So yesterday we spoke about this breakdown. Okay, so we spoke about this breakdown, and then basically we said we're looking for a bearish retest of 16,895. So around about this area, and we can see we had that bearish retest there. Okay, we then had another retest, okay, lower, high on smaller time frames, obviously, and then we're currently moving down. Possible bear flag, okay, that we've just broken out of. Okay, so we've moved down, retesting again this lower trend line of the bear flag, and not able at the moment to break above. So measured move of this bear flag, taking just, rough estimate. If we do break down, possibly looking at 16,734 or a test of this lower trend line here. Okay, so look for some sort of support in this area, and obviously we need to make sure that support holds. The other thing to bear in mind is this bigger rising channel that Bitcoin was trading in. Okay, we're on the 1 hour time frame at the moment, and let me go to the 2 hour. Let's remove this. Okay, so Bitcoin was trading in this pattern, okay, rising channel. If I get my polygon tool, just going to draw this in a little bit better, okay. Obviously a bearish pattern, so we're looking at red. Price action may be going up, but essentially this is a bearish pattern. 68% chance, I believe, that this breaks to the downside. The reason I'm drawing this in is I just want to get the measured move. So if we're looking from top to bottom here, okay, and we've seen that breakdown right now, potentially looking at, draw a horizontal line in and move down to around 16,481. Now, why is that significant? Well, I think what you've got to look at is you possibly breaking down below this 618. Support then turning into resistance, potentially bearish retest of 16,574 and a continuation lower. Okay. So if we do see further breakdown to these areas, we've just got to remember that previous support turns into resistance. And then we're looking for continuation downwards. Okay. Like so. So until Bitcoin starts breaking back up through these resistance levels, then essentially the direction is downwards. So for now, I'm going to remove this bear flag. That should be red. Sorry, my fault. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look to see. So, I mean, same as yesterday. My thoughts are we're going to test the lows down here, okay? May well test this trend line here. If we go to the 12-hour reset chart, okay, you can kind of see where the price action might be moving. So we're probably looking to retest this trend line here, or retest the lows again, 15,479, possible double bottom here as well. Okay, so just keep an eye on the price action right now. And like I say, it's very difficult to trade because of the news that's about to come out over the next 10 days. which is just gonna increase the volatility within the marketplace. I'm just going to turn these off. Like so. Okay. The other thing to just keep an eye on is the RSI on the weekly. Let's go to weekly, and then I'm going to go down to RSI. Just going to look at my TA on the RSI. Okay. So one thing I'm looking at, which could coincide with this move lower and a test of the lows, particularly a test of the 15,000 area, is the RSI weekly, okay, time frame, and the fact that the price action hasn't yet been able to break above this resistance line. So when we see that break retest, okay, potentially move higher, then we're looking at potentially a bit of a reversal with regards to Bitcoin and possibly going bullish. But this might not happen until February, March time. But certainly draw this trend line in on the RSI and keep an eye on. But one thing I'm possibly looking at is this double bottoming. So if we get a rejection and a continuation lower, are we going to see this double bottom on the RSI, bullish reversal pattern? And then are we saying then, looking at how low the RSI is, are we saying then that the bottom is in? Okay, so this is one thing I'm keeping an eye on, albeit the weekly takes quite a lot of time to move. But if you are looking for some sort of confirmation, then potentially this pattern will do that for you. Okay, so just go back to the 1 hour time frame. So like I say, have a look at yesterday's video on Bitcoin. Nothing much has changed. In fact, we're pretty much spot on with regards to bearish retest, possible double top on the 1 hour time frame, continuing to break down. Okay, we've got to see if this support level holds. If this trend line holds, then we could see Bitcoin start to move back upwards. Measured move obviously is down here somewhere, so we just need to bear in mind that if Bitcoin does break down, then we could see a bearish retest of that fib level. Okay, this 618, so 16,574. We need to hold 16,574. Potentially we break lower, see bearish retest, continue lower. But I think you just have to remember that volatility is going to be kicking in. Markets are selling off. The S&P is selling off. The Nasdaq is selling off, or was selling off. So 1, 2, 3, 4 straight days of losses at the moment. And are we seeing, if you look at the pattern, this is the dailies, go to the 3 day, look at the pattern that the S&P is trading in. You know, S&P really needs to be holding these support levels. Otherwise, we could see a move back down to the bottom. Remember, until we break out of this pattern, okay, the price action will continue to move lower because it is moving within this falling, broadening wedge. Okay, so until we break that upper trend line, you have to expect the price action to continue to move lower on the S&P. Same with the ES1, very similar pattern with the ES1, the mini futures. Okay, we've had a breakdown of this rising channel on the mini futures. Okay, and if there is that correlation, then this is, you know, Bitcoin's seeing the same thing. But you can see that right here we've had that breakdown. Okay, so potentially we're now looking for a move lower, and again, these support levels need to hold on the S&P. Sorry, on the mini futures. Nasdaq, similar story. Okay, it's just holding. Okay, it's just holding this upper trend line right now. Okay, we've seen a bit more momentum come into the markets today after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight losses, 5 days of straight losses. We've seen a bit of momentum come into the market today. But I don't think anyone's bullish until we know what the Fed are doing. So we're likely to see sideways movement, maybe some slight movements up, but I don't think we're going to see any real movement until we get this Fed meeting. DXY, dollar index, dollar moving up. Remember, if dollar moves up, Bitcoin generally moves down. Okay, but again, not much movement there. Okay, USDT, as we probably expect, people moving back into USDT at the moment, waiting to see what happens. Short positions, not much movement from the shorts. We're seeing a slight increase there. Okay, but again, people are probably sitting in USDT waiting to see what's going to happen. And then the US 100 index, just fairly steady at the moment. So generally, if this moves down, Bitcoin moves down with it. Okay. Okay, just looking at the, so if you go to, if you Google FedWatch tool, you can bring this particular website up, CME Group FedWatch tool, okay? Gives you the timeline for the next FOMC meeting. It's in 6 days, 8 hours, 41 minutes and a few seconds. Also gives you an idea of how, what people are thinking. So the probability right now is there'll be a 50 basis point hike. 74% are saying 50 and 25% are saying, or 75, 25 are saying 75 basis point hike. But after the jobs data, no one's really 100% sure, I think, on what's going to happen there. So we just need to keep an eye on what's going on, keep our ears to the ground and try and get an idea of what's likely to happen before this meeting or during this meeting so that we can effectively trade what might happen. But sometimes, as I tell others in group, sometimes it's important just to wait, let the meeting happen, let the market do its volatility, let the market settle down, and then work out where your area of value is moving forward. Okay, so it's a very, very difficult period trading wise. And interestingly, China easing restrictions massively, and that's had no real effect on the markets. Everyone thought that China easing would make the markets rally, and that's not happening. So there's a little bit of perplexity, if that's the right word, in the marketplace at the moment. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance moving up. Keep an eye on your old positions. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance starts to move up, and Bitcoin itself moves down. Your altcoin positions will get wrecked. Okay, so dominance moving up, Bitcoin moving down equals altcoins getting wrecked. So keep an eye on that. CME futures, just keep an eye on 17,095. Okay, this red line here, unable to break that area. Okay, CME futures kind of gives you a similar chart to Bitcoin, but struggling with this area until we see futures break and hold, retest and hold 17,095. You're possibly expecting more downside. So keep an eye on that. SPX we looked at. Okay, so moving down at the moment, needs to hold key support 3907. ES1, okay, needs to hold key support. Nasdaq needs to hold this trend line. If it drops back into the pattern, we're looking at 11,198, seeing if that holds. Okay, and the others we've been through already. Okay, so quick look at news. If you go over to our website, BPOI Crypto News, you can sort by Bitcoin, or if you just go to the homepage, it just gives you a general roundup of all the latest news. Nothing too much going on. Obviously, FTX drama continues. I don't really get involved too much in the politics of everything that's going on. I just look at the TAs and base my trading decisions from that. But you gotta kind of keep an eye on things just in case it has a negative impact on the market. So keep an eye on this FTX stuff as more exchanges potentially collapse. If Bitcoin, so we just got to remember, if the Bitcoin price does continue to move down and we start testing 16, 15, 14, it's going to cause havoc within the marketplace, and you're likely to see more exchanges come under intense pressure and face liquidity issues. So we just need to bear that in mind. As the price drops, it becomes a lot harder for certain exchanges who aren't as liquid as you might think they are. So you just need to bear that in mind. Okay, but a lot of FTX news at the moment. There's an interesting Telegram post here. So have a read of this. But Telegram to allow no SIM accounts via anonymous blockchain numbers. So that's an interesting move with regards to, I guess, data protection. But normally with Telegram, you need to have a SIM. If you want to run a couple of different accounts, you need different SIMs, etc. But potentially there's something good there, and it'll be interesting to see follow Telegram and their adoption of crypto. Around 8% of Bitcoin investors lost money in 2020. I mean, old story. Crypto lender Genesis has no solution yet for withdrawal halts. So obviously Genesis still facing major issues there. But a lot of it's so bankruptcy judge orders 44 million in crypto to be returned to Celsius customers. Okay, so it just gives you an idea of judges, if court battles go on, that the customers seem to be favorited, if you like, with regards to money coming back. But just a lot of news about FTX at the moment. Go to the homepage. Just have a quick scan. I just like having a quick scan just to see what's going on. And again, nothing really jumping. I think everything now is focused on this Fed meeting. So let's focus on that and see where we end up. But yeah, BPOI, crypto news, just have a look at that for a news story. So I'm going to leave it there right now. I'm thinking another leg down. I'm just looking at, this potential bear flag still in play. I'm looking at another leg down, probably take us below the 0.5, 16,734. Probably looking at a bearish retest of that level. So previous support tending to resistance, move down, measured move from this bigger pattern in and around this area. 618. If we lose 16,574, then potentially we're going to bearish retest that, continue to move lower, depending on what comes out from the Fed. And data coming out tomorrow, and then next week is a really, really busy week. I'll go through everything that the Fed are doing in the next video, but trade safely. And my stance at the moment is, as yesterday, possibly going to see a test of the lower 1600s, and then Bitcoin basically faces a battle of holding those areas. And you got to have an understanding that as Bitcoin starts to move and test these lows, that FUD is going to enter into the market and potentially drive the price lower. So keep an eye on the news and keep an eye on that FUD as Bitcoin starts to move lower, as people start to get a little bit scared of where the price action is going. FUD enters the market and then people start panic selling, and essentially the price goes down. And remember, cynical side of me, as I said yesterday, the big exchanges, Binance, big exchanges, probably are happy for the price to move lower because it's just going to wipe out everybody in the market. So that's the cynical side of me. Right, 17 minutes. I'm going to leave it there. Shout if you've got any questions, and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Cheers.